Sri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Namaha. Maitreya Muni says, when Lord Shiva spoke to Satī, saying that if she does not follow what he says, then that will not bring good result for her, because Lord Shiva told her to not go attend her father's fire sacrifice festival. And if she did not follow what he said, that would bring unpleasing consequences. That's what Lord Shiva meant. Because he, your father, being my relative, and I being a pure devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa, he offended me in front of everybody, speaking bitter words, which is equal in misery to death, which is as miserable as death. After saying this, Lord Shiva became quiet, went in meditation. Hearing the words of harassment, Lord Shiva, Satī could not decide what she should do. Because she intensely wanted to meet her relative sisters and parents and participate in the festival. But in the same time, she did not want to disobey what Lord Shiva had said, thinking that if she disobeys the orders of her spiritual master, Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is the spiritual master of all goddesses and demigoddesses, all the demigoddesses and demigods in heaven. Therefore, Lord Shiva is the spiritual master of Satī also, because she is a demigoddess. So if she does not follow the orders given by her spiritual master, that would implicate her with offense. So she was scared of this too. Therefore, she would go out to go to her father's place and come back because of fear of offending Lord Shiva. She was a woman, flickering mind. Those who become wholeheartedly devotees, they are the only women who have steady mind, because Lord Kṛṣṇa occupies their brain. They become steady. Those who are not devotees, they remain unsteady, with unsteady mind or flickering mind. So, she had intense desire to meet her relatives. Thus she became very unhappy, morose, because Lord Shiva's order is also there. So morose condition, she became angry, with the red eyes looked towards Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva was in meditation, no more talking. So she looked at Lord Shiva. Being in great lamentation and upset and angry, she started trembling and left Lord Shiva to go to her father's place. When the followers of Lord Shiva saw Satī going away from Lord Shiva alone to her father's place against the will of Lord Shiva, they followed her. They went behind her. Satī Devi entered in the arena of her father, sacrificial arena of her father, along with followers of Lord Shiva. Seeing Satī, her father did not welcome her or smiled at her, even looked at her. All the Pandits were chanting great mantras very loudly. Fire sacrifice was going on. But when daughter entered, actually, among all the daughters, Satī was the youngest one. And parents love the youngest children of them. Youngest child is loved by parents the maximum among all children. So Daksha Prajapati loved the little girl. But when she entered in, he did not even look at her. He could have looked at her because yajna was going on. Okay, he could not stand up and pull her by her arm, wrist, catch the wrist and make her sit down near her. But at least he could have looked at her. So, seeing such a situation, Satī was not happy. Also, she did not see a place assigned for Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva takes the portion of oblations performed in the fire sacrifice. That is the rule of Vedic scripture. So, anytime yajnas or fire sacrifices are performed, Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, three of them are given seats to sit down and take portion of the fire sacrifice. But there was no place for Lord Shiva. Being treated in such a way, being offended by her father, she reached to her mother and she looked at her mother and sisters. They welcomed her with love. Satī was already upset because her husband was offended by her father and she is not respected, welcomed. So she did not care about the treatment extended by her sisters and mother. She knew her father was attached to karma kanda. Those who only do karma kanda and think that karma kanda is good, their pride is very big. Ego has no bounds. Their heart becomes very hard. They cannot be humble, not possible. So Satī knew that. And what could she do? She was upset. So when the followers of Shiva saw Satī upset, they wanted to punish Daksha Prajapati. So Satī prevented from them to act a punishing way. She was already angry, so her lips were quivering with anger. She spoke loudly in front of everyone and let everybody hear what she wanted to say. She told her father, there is nobody greater than Lord Shiva among all the demigods. He is the greatest demigod. He is dear to everyone because he is the spiritual master of every demigod. He does not love anyone extra, nor hates anyone. No me deshosti na priya. Samān bhāv. Yasmanno dvijite loko lokanno dvijite. That is devotee. Nobody is scared of him and he is scared of nobody. He's always engaged in devotional service. He has samabhav, equally disposed towards everyone. So Satī said, Lord Shiva is equally disposed towards everyone. No one is his enemy and keeps enmity towards no one. There is no one except you who keeps enmity towards him. Yeah, she realized it. Except you, nobody keeps enmity towards Lord Shiva, she said. And anyone who keeps enmity towards Lord Shiva, they get no good result. Who envies Lord Shiva? Only Daksha Prajapati. Why? Because he's attached to karma kanda, ritualistic ceremonies mentioned in the Vedas. Wash your sins and sin again. Sin again, fill up with sin and then wash it. That is called karma kanda. Devotees don't do such karma kanda. Even though devotees respect and obey Vedas, follow Vedas, but they do not follow certain portion. Shukla Yajurveda, we follow Kṛṣṇa Yajurveda, like that. She said, "Oh Father, you are a great Brahmin, very respectable. Even then, you see faults in such a great personality who's filled only with good qualities. I'm surprised with this. But those who are saintly, they don't do such things. And Lord Shiva is saintly. He even magnifies those one good quality. If somebody has all filled with bad qualities, have one good quality, he magnifies those good qualities and makes the person become encouraged to give up the bad qualities. You know, I don't want to associate with you. I don't want to have connection with you, even though you are my father, because the scriptures say, Durjano dosa madhatte durgandhi miva sukara sajjanascha gunagrahi hansa khiri vivam bhasa. Just as a swan given with milk mixed with water drinks only milk, similarly saintly people only take good qualities even though person has many bad qualities as well. He separates good qualities from the bad qualities and leaves the bad qualities and accepts good qualities as much as the swan who leaves the milk and who leaves the water and drinks the milk. Those who are evil-minded people, they act like a pig. They eat stool or bad qualities or others. They only criticize others. Sadhu nindaka is no good. To criticize a devotee who has invested her life to preach Krishna consciousness, honestly a devotee, a real devotee, heart of heart devotee, and you criticize that person, your chanting carries no value. Krishna is very upset with you. Therefore, we must be humble and only seek good qualities in a devotee. Like that. She said, I am so upset. You not only criticize Lord Shiva, you impose some criticism on him. Even though he has not done anything wrong, you imposed some allegations he did. is such a, alas, such a upsetting act. You are an evil-minded person. That's why you criticize an uncriticizable devotee, Lord Shiva. No problem, because evil-minded people, they criticize. We should not pay attention towards their criticism, their act, criticizing act, because those who are good devotees, they have so many things to do. Though they have better things to do than pay attention to their criticizing attitude. You know, those who are criticizers, they lose their vigor, because Lord Krishna cannot tolerate the criticism of his devotees, even though devotees forgive them for their mistake. Devotee forgives them, but God don't forgive them. As much as a person walking in the sun can tolerate the heat of the sun on the head, but not on the feet. Like that. So, if you envy Lord Shiva, that is not good, because one who repeats the name Se and Va, the two alphabets, they become free from sins. Such a great person. No one can disobey his orders. No one. There is no one who can disobey his orders. Lord Shiva's orders. Actually, it is a fact. His greatest devotee, his guru of demigods. So who will disobey his orders? He says, serve Kṛṣṇa, we serve Kṛṣṇa. And you envy such a person and criticize him. Therefore, keeping connection with you is all inauspicious for me, because you are inauspicious. Nichasrayam na kartavyam. One should not associate with those evil-minded person. Not possible. It is not that you are the only one who know that Lord Shiva lives in crematoriums. It is not that only you who knows that. It is not only you who knows that he smears ashes from the pyres, funeral pyres. It's not only you who knows that he wears a human skull garland on his neck. It's not you. It is not you who knows that he lives with the matted hairs scattered around uneven hairs. It is not like that. Even Lord Brahma and all the demigods know that. Lord Brahma knows, all the demigods know, everybody knows, and they hanker the dust from his lotus feet, a flower coming from his feet, they put on their head. They respect. And they are better than you. You are not called demigod, you are called Prajapati, progenitor. That's what she meant. She said, you know the exact rule of behaving with those who criticize devotee? Let me tell you. She says, Karno pidhaya nirayad yad kalpa ise dharmo vitarya shrunibhir nuhirasya mani chidyat prahasya rushamita asati prabhusche jihvam asuna pitato visrujit sadharma. What is the real behavior of a devotee? One who is a real devotee, how does that devotee behave with a person who criticizes a respectable person? She says, if any proud person who thinks himself or herself to be greater and criticizes a honorable devotee, if the listener don't have sufficient ability, then should close his or her ears and disperse from that place, go away. If the person who hears the criticism has the ability to punish that person, should extend the appropriate kind of punishment to the criticizer of a pure devotee. If he or she cannot do any of these two things, then should condemn himself or herself that is unable to do anything. That is the real procedure, real scriptural procedure to do one of these two things or the third thing. She further said, my body is born from you. I feel ashamed to have a body from you, keeping this body which is born from you. You have criticized such a great devotee as Lord Shiva. Therefore, I don't want to keep this body with me. If I go to if I return to Lord Shiva, and he will call me Dakshayani, O loving daughter of Daksha, how would I feel? He will call me Daksha Kumari, O daughter of Daksha, come here, sit down with me. How miserable, ashamed I will feel. Therefore, it is not good for me to keep this body. You are a criticizer of a real devotee, even though you are my father. I don't want to keep this body. So she decided to relinquish the body at that minute. So she went saying that if somebody by mistake swallows some unwanted, undesirable, contaminated item somehow, the only remedy to become purified is to throw up and bring out everything what he swallowed, he or she swallowed. Say, for example, by mistake, you swallowed some onion pieces. Whatever you ate, you got to throw out, so onion piece also comes out. Then only you become pure. No other way to become pure. I remember this. There was one of my god brothers traveled with me to Singapore. His name was Gaur-Mandala-Bhumi. We were very hungry, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. We haven't eaten anything. So we went to a restaurant called Komala Vilas. I knew there was all Indians, all nice South Indians run that restaurant. So we asked, what do you have? I said, puri and sabji. And I asked if you have dosa and chutney. He said, yes. So I said, I want to eat dosa and chutney. And then he said, I want to eat puri and sabji. And I told him, sabji carried onion because it's a South Indian restaurant. Don't eat. No, I want puris and sabji. So they brought puri and kurma, sabji, potato sabji, only potato and onions. So I told him, look, these onions. So he pulled out 1 or 2 pieces of onions. There are hundreds of pieces inside. He ate puri and sabji in front of me, which is onion sabji. So there is contamination. So even by mistake you got to throw up, bring out everything. He is knowingly doing it. And I told him, look, don't do it. Don't eat. And I'm his senior god brother. That is ego. Here, Satī says, therefore, I want to relinquish this body. She went to the northern part of that fire sacrificial pit, sat down. So, dharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. one should follow their own prescribed duty and not follow others' path. Our path is devotional service, doing bhakti. Others' path is something else. We cannot criticize them, nor we can adopt their path because it's their path. So, she said, you know, dear Father, there are two paths to realize God. One is Prabhuti Marga and Nibruti Marga. Path of material attachment, path of renunciation or detachment. Detached are sadhus, the devotees means sannyasis, and path of attachment is householders. And both paths oppose each other like North Pole and South Pole. Both are opposing each other. Oh dear Father, no one in this universe can follow these two paths together because they are North and South Poles like. How can anybody combine both and follow? But Lord Shiva is the only one who follows this path. He's married with me and he is the purest devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. There is no better devotee than Lord Shiva on this planet for Lord Kṛṣṇa. Vaishnavanam yatha shambho. He's the greatest devotee of Lord Kṛṣṇa. And in the same time, he's householder. See, one can be householder and a real devotee at the same time. One can be a female housewife and can be a pure devotee at the same time. Must follow Guru's directions properly. Like that. So you criticize such a great devotee. You know, you are very evil-minded. People like you will not understand what opulence pure devotee possess. Vaishnavera kriya mudra vigyena bujai. It is true. Even the greatly learned people become bewildered by seeing the activities, actions, and the words, the way they speak, behave of pure devotees. Very difficult to know. So people like you cannot understand that. Because you are materially drowned. Material affairs. Your mind is materially attached. Only those who are self-realized or purified, they will understand pure devotees like Lord Shiva, nobody else. You are offender of Lord Shiva. And my body has come from you. I don't want to keep this body. And she went in the northern direction. Maitreya Muni says, saying all this, she went to northern part of the fire sacrifice pit and sat there quietly. She covered herself with a saffron cloth. Saffron color represents fire. Saffron represents materially dead. Saffron represents materially relinquished material attachments. Saffron represents God's tongue. Saffron represents attachment to God. Sat, Nyas. Sannyas, Sat, Nyas represents these two. Attached to God, detached from material affairs. So this represents fire. So she sat down in the yoga mudra, pointing fingertip touched to tip of the thumb, and these three other fingers straightened, touching each other. This is called yoga mudra. She quietly sat down there meditating on her husband and meditating on Lord Kṛṣṇa. And fire came from her body. She burned to ashes. That is called Yoga Agni. So, seeing her burnt into ashes, those who were present there, all sages and saintly people, they were stunned with wonder. Look, and there was tumultuous sound coming and spreading all directions. They were loudly screaming. Look what had happened. Innocent girl was disrespected by her father. She burnt herself. Her father should not have disrespected her. He should have welcomed her. All that was going on there. They also gossiped that Daksha will be criticized everywhere. They also gossiped that. And then that tumultuous sound went in all directions. The followers of Lord Shiva found out that, and they lifted their weapons to punish Daksha Prajapati and those who were supporting him. But Bhrigu Muni was there, great Brahmin, son of Lord Brahma, born from his mind. Bhrigu was born from the mind of Lord Brahma. As we had discussed a few days ago, the 10 sons were born. One of them was Bhrigu. He was there, was in charge, for presiding chief priest in the fire sacrifice. So he saw the disturbance in the fire sacrificial arena. He knew mantras. He took mantradhinam chiddaivatam tat sarvam brahmanadhinam brahmano mama devata devadhinam jagat sarvam mantradhinam chiddaivatam. So mantras, when oblation swaha was put, demigods came out from fire to remove the obstacles. Obstacle were Lord Shiva's followers, ghosts and devils and pisachas and all that. They were creating havoc there, wanted to punish Daksha, so he wanted no problems. So all these demigods, they beat the followers of Lord Shiva and drove them away. That had happened in the fire sacrifice. Tyaja durjana sansarga kuru sadhu samagama. Bhaja Lakshmi patim Vishnu bhukti mukti pradayakam. Tyaja durjana sansarga. One should give up the association of evil-minded people, those who are artificial, those who are show. Parokhe karyahantaram pratyakshe priyavadinam varjayet tadrusham mitram vishakumbham vayomukham. Speak sweetly in front and criticize behind, find faults and destroy the work behind. Does wrong things back. Such kind of people should not be associated with. Should associate with only a real devotee, one who is honest, inside out, truthful. Because if you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with a connection with a real devotee, surely you will get all material facilities while existing. You will be happy in this world. And after death, you enter in the spiritual world. Thank you very much.